We're back here on the Senior Network, and who knew that this topic could be so exciting and evoke so much discussion? We take a quick break, and Jay, you're like, look, I really want to share this with our viewing audience, and about planning, frankly.
Well, when hospice is involved, it would be true to say that normally it's not an immediate death that is coming.
Correct.
It's usually a little bit of time, and there's a little bit of time to plan as well. What I was going to mention is, of course, on the front end of that time period, that's the best time to plan. I had a cold recently.
Okay.
I was sick for a week. I didn't feel like doing anything. I had to do some things, but I didn't feel like doing it then. At the end of hospice, that's the worst time that somebody could plan.
True.
But when they are first getting into hospice, they may feel good enough, they may have enough capacity to do some planning.
I hear it.
Does that trigger a lot of families coming to you when they enter a hospice
You know,
situation?
I was thinking this morning, what does trigger things? And certainly hospice triggers people thinking, wow, or a friend passes away. We were just talking about that off camera. Someone's friend passed away just immediately in the last couple of weeks. I had someone that I knew just passed away within the last 2 weeks. And so then you think about your own planning. And one thing I was thinking about too is, it's not for someone to sit by the bedside and say, let me go through this checklist of things, and who do you want to leave this to, who do you want to leave that to, because that goes to self-help. That's a dangerous thing, because that's one of the things I wanted to bring up in today's conversation was, it's not good for you to try to figure out your own planning. I spend my days doing this stuff. So I'm paying attention to things that you may not have thought about because the thousands of people I've helped before, and we've had those questions and issues come up.
So you have experience and objectivity on your side.
Right.
Oh, see, that makes so much sense. Going back to the palliative care part of that, what are some of the services that we maybe don't know about with hospice care that, again, comes back to the planning piece of it?
Well, in palliative care, as I mentioned, it's based on an honest evaluation of the situation, maintaining the hope. We're going to treat you through this palliative period. You're going to get active, the best treatment available for your disease, but chances are it's not going to cure you.
Okay.
So you bring into force the hospice medical director, who hopefully has experience with the diseases.
Okay.
Now, not every medical director is going to be an expert in Alzheimer's or cancer or chronic lung disease. And they provide sort of a second opinion situation. Yes, your doctor's doing exactly the right thing, and we're here to help. Then you introduce them to the nursing services that are available, the social work services, all of the supportive care that can be provided by a full-service palliative care hospice. And then when the time comes that death seems to be within a matter of months, you switch gears into the hospice portion. When active anti-cancer treatment, for example, is no longer feasible or reasonable, and then you pay attention to the patient's symptoms, to the family's well-being.
Okay.
Well, I want to add to that,
see?
because I love the hope concept you're giving. Because when that moment comes, there's hope for your family and the future.
Right.
And so the transition can be from hope for yourself to what can I hope for my family, and how can I plan to help them in doing the things that I want them to be able to do.
That graceful transition, it's really, I never even thought about it like that.
Well, Doctor, also, you just made me think about a kind of a bigger picture thing. How does Medicare and the regulations and face-to-face and all that come into play?
Well, Medicare, as I think most people know, is the largest provider of funding for hospice, since most patients
have Medicare, are older.
Are over the age of 65
Are
and
mature.
Medicare beneficiaries. Medicare will also pay for part of the palliative care services, specifically the physician and the nurse involvement. Now, they won't pay for the religious support and the social service, but so Medicare is a very big provider for us. The other thing about us that's important as a nonprofit is we need support of the community.
Yes.
And I think this kind of exposure will help.
Oh.
And I always say, well, people say to me, well, doctor, why are you interested in hospice? Isn't it kind of depressing? Well, no.
No,
it's
I
not.
agree.
It's like You're born and you die, and both parts of that are equally important. And if you can make somebody more comfortable. The second reason I do it is if I make any contribution to the hospice Lowcountry, hospice care of the Lowcountry, it's going to be better. So when I need it,
Right, exactly. You're like I am. We're looking at our future,
Exactly.
aren't we? We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on the Senior Network.